Okay.
We're live.
Calling to order our February 7th special meeting of the Council Rock Board of School Directors. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag to the back. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, may I have a roll call, please?
Denise Brooks.
Here.
Marianne McKee.
Here.
Jesus Hidalgo.
Present.
Christine Marcel.
Here.
Ed Solomon.
Here.
Andy Block.
Here.
Mark Weiler, Ed Pate, and Mike Forward are not here.
That's right. All the way on some aspect of business tonight.
Is there any public comment? There's no public comments. We'll move directly into our two items for approval tonight. Ms. McKee, if you could read the first one, please.
Sure, I move to approve the preliminary 2019-2020 general fund budget on the form PDE 2028 as attached, presented by the administration on January 10th, 2019. Second.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Ms. Reinhardt, what's yours?
I just want to make a quick presentation. You've seen a lot more detail to these numbers back in January, but I just want to introduce the subject again, if you will. Tonight's board action, Act 1 requires us to pass a preliminary budget showing that we need to raise taxes above the Act 1 index. This is something that is just procedural to move forward in the next part of the budget process, which will be a preliminary budget in April or May, and we'll decide those final dates at that time. This will allow us to seek exceptions to the Act 1 index, and specifically it's a special education exception. I believe that we will be granted additional revenue for that exception, meaning that the special ed expenditures from 2016-17 and 2017-18 when compared were above by the Act 1 index for those years, and therefore you can take an exception to increase revenues at a higher rate than you would otherwise. We will be presenting a detailed budget in March. Again, when you look at this budget is very much a calculated budget. It's a math calculation. We haven't put in staff members and everything else. We're working on that right now. So in March, you're going to see a much more detailed budget that's probably going to be different than this budget, but this gets us to the next step. April, May, proposed final will be approved by the board, and May, June, final budget will be approved. I know that in May there are some scheduling conflicts and things like that, so we may be putting it off till June, but that'll be made, decision made a different date. If you look at it, 2018-19 budget that we're looking at right now, revenues of $236 million, expenditures of $240 million, with a deficit of about $4.1 million. When you look at that, generally our revenues come in a little higher, our expenditures come in a little lower than what's budgeted, and we haven't really used all of that type of revenue, so we're in good shape with this budget the way it is. The budget that's in front of you tonight has increased revenues to $242 million, $243 million, and the expenditures are at $246 million, a deficit again about $3.2 million, which those numbers, although it gets to the next step and they look good, I hope they come in that well there. This is a very top level discussion and presentation. You'll get a lot more information in March. Anyone have any questions about that? Okay. This budget does include total revenues from real estate taxes of almost $8 million. That causes a tax increase of 2.84 mils, which is equivalent to the 2.3 Act 1 index. So if we didn't go for exceptions, we would be able to raise taxes $3.8 million, and it'd be worth a millage rate of 2.8 mils. Because we can go, what I believe is an exception of $989,000, we can go and increase taxes another 0.7881 mils, and that brings the total millage of 3.63. That is what is included in this budget. Final budget can be at 3.63 mils, or it could be below 3.6. The Act 1 index is 2.3. This just gives you the ability, if we need to do that, to be able to go beyond the Act 1 index. Okay? Down here is something where the median homestead assessed value is 38.8, meaning that when you take all the homesteads in the district, you pick the middle one, and that is 38.8, and that's what we use as the average assessed value. If we'd only increase taxes by the Act 1 index, it would cost the average person, I will call that average, $110.30. If we would go beyond that fully to the 3.63 mils, it's another 0.7881 mils, and it would be an additional tax increase that would go to $30.58, or a combined increase of $40.88. I want to put that in just so you see the concept of the average taxpayer, so that you can understand that. That is all the prepared comments I have tonight. There's a lot more detail when I explained it at the last meeting, but I wanted to at least put this together for you guys to have a context on the vote tonight. Any questions?
Have we applied for this before?
Pardon me?
Have we applied for the exception?
We have not. This is the first time I believe I'm here. I thought we did it earlier when I was here, like the first or second year, but I look back and I don't believe we did that. The reason I believe this is the proper thing to do is that last year, well, this current budget we're in, we had about $4.6 million we were able to raise just from the Act 1 index. When I saw that we're going to be below by that much money, and our budgets have been tight, we have cut staff numbers in that. I did not want you to put you or Bill in that position and not look at this. I hope we come in and we go up 2.3 and we have, everything we need or below that. But I want you to have the ability to do that if we don't know what the numbers are really going to come in at this point. So that's really why I want to do this. I don't want to leave here and you guys are going to be, why didn't we go for exceptions? This is one year we should have. So that's why we did it. And I asked you to do it.
Thank you, it's very clear.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Reinhardt.
Andy, if I may, just a comment, and this is more for the benefit of the public listening at home. The action that we're asking the board to take tonight is not to approve any budget, approve any tax increase, et cetera. All of this is doing is giving the board they're reserving the right to go above the Act 1 index by using these exceptions. But we are not at a point to even recommend a budget at or above the Act 1 index. So we have the rest of the spring to allow this process to play out. So just want to make sure that that's clear, that all we're doing is reserving the right to go above the Act 1 index. We are not deciding tonight to go above the Act 1 index.
Said that any better myself. Madam Secretary, have a roll call vote, please.
Denise Brooks,
Yes.
Marion McKee,
Yes.
Joseph Hidalgo,
Yes.
Christine Marcel. Yes. Ed Solomon,
Yes.
Andy Block.
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. Congratulations, gang. We're on the next step to the budget. Our second item this evening, welcome to your first official board meeting, even though it's a small one. Mr. Solomon, if you could please make the motion.
Thank you and good evening. I move to award the commercial buyer tenant agency contract between Remax Properties Limited and the Council Rock School District
at the broker fees as outlined in the attached contract, pending sale of facility, subject to audit and solicitor's review.
Second.
Yeah, I can give an update on this. As the board knows, we have had a long-standing relationship with the Law School Admission Council building for Sloan, Achieve, and our Twilight program. We've been there for well over a decade, and it's been a very good partnership for us. We've heard directly from LSAC leadership that their programs are growing, their staffing is growing, so we aren't completely sure whether we are going to be able to continue to use that space as we project out to the long term. So at a minimum, we want to do our due diligence and find any and all commercial properties that are out there. We're looking in the neighborhood of about 25,000 square feet to accommodate these programs. So we've engaged the services here of RE/MAX, Dan McCloskey and Chris Terry. In particular, they are local residents, have been in the business in the Newtown, Richboro area for decades, and are very impressive in their presentation. So I'm confident that they're going to do a great job for us, and we may end up making an acquisition through this process, and we may not. But we at least want to make sure our options are open and that we understand what the market could have available to us. So I ask for your approval for to enter into this agreement with RE/MAX tonight.
Any questions, Dr. Frazier? Any comments?
I have no questions. I just applaud the district for doing this. I think this is a really smart approach. We don't know what they're going to find, but as we're going to have to evaluate our footprint and all these things to see if there's an ideal space for these programs in the community is just great. So I'm really excited to see what they come up with.
If I may, I agree with you, Mrs. Brooks. The question, is there a timeline of when they might come back to us with potential properties?
We talked roughly around that. We met with them most recently this past Monday. So this contract extends through the end of this calendar year. I expressed a desire to, have a pretty good understanding of what's out there on the market within the next couple of months. And they are going to be looking both at what's currently on the market as well as leveraging their contacts and networking to see if there might be some other spaces available that aren't even on the market, but there might be a desire to engage in that consideration.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for us on the table? Any objections? Hearing none, I'd ask the secretary to record the motion as passing with unanimous consent.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment next? Is there any other public comment? Second round. No public comment. Is there any old business from the board? Any new business? Any board comment? Dr. Frazier, anything from you?
Nothing.
Okay. With that, I will adjourn this special meeting. For members of the public listening in, we're going to take a 3 to 5 minute break and come back with the finance committee agenda.